Hi guys. How's everyone doing? Wow, okay. How's everyone doing? Okay. I was gonna say you guys are being dishonest, but there was kind of some honesty there. I mean, honestly, who's had some really crappy days this week? All right. Yay for the crappy. Average days this week? Who's had an amazing week? Okay, so see, we can be honest with each other. Am I allowed to venture out of this red circle? Yes. Excellent. So, so yeah, being honest, like how many of you have come across this interaction where you go and you say hi to someone and they say, "Hi, I'm good, how are you?" You know, I mean, all right, I'm digressing. Clearly, I've never done a TED Talk. Is the mic in the right place? Yes. Excellent. So I'd like to start with a quote by Dr. Seuss. "Today you are you, that is truer than true. There's no one alive who is youer than you. Today you are you, that is truer than true. There's no one alive that is youer than you." Sorry, I'm just being myself. All right. So being the meest me, I am a tangential thinker with my hands shaking and stuff, a multi-potentialite, a procrastinator extraordinaire. I'm a creative person, and I sometimes disappear into my own world, and I don't hear what someone's saying, and I have to apologize for it. And so these meisms don't always sit well with people, which brings me to a question. What is this obsession with fitting in, and where does it come from? So I think it... Can you guys hear me without the mic? Okay, sorry. Someone just went... Oh, I have to resign myself to the carpet again. Okay, sorry. So yeah, what is this obsession with fitting in, and where does it come from? Perhaps from the moment we're born, you know, you look around and you see your parents acting a certain way, you see your siblings acting a certain way, and you think, that's how you live life, that's how you navigate it. And you try to emulate them, and voila, you are praised for what is perceived as mimicking positive behavior. As we grow older, some of us start to rebel against our early life role models, but then those are soon replaced by the need for validation from peers, from self-defined role models, and then that's, again, you're continuing to be influenced by these external rudders. Sorry. As a child, the only thing on my mind was exploration and fun. All right, I would wait till 4 p.m. every day, prime time, because the adults were asleep, and create a mattressed mountain down the staircase. And I couldn't for the life of me understand why it had to be removed at all. Isn't sliding down on your bum the best mode of transport? So, or going out exploring in the backyard or the neighborhood. My sister and I, yes, not very safe, we would carry knives with us. And we would go and we would take clippings of, am I robot voicing? Sorry. We would take clippings of plants and flowers and all of that, because back then the apartments didn't exist behind the Raksha villas. It was all open land with vegetation and juggies here and there. And it was such an adventure. I remember spending so much time like that. I went on to make friends with kids in the neighborhood and found more places to explore. We would make the garages our hideouts. We would go to the Raksha market and eat those gande wale fries. Those are the tastiest, right? We would beat up boys, and we would, like, you know, paint far and wide the scapes of our tireless imaginations. Now, boys may have it tough, but growing up as a girl in Pakistan, or anywhere really, you start to notice these niggling threats from the corners. You start to notice that somebody makes you feel uncomfortable. An older boy or a man, or perhaps a mazdoor who tries to lure you into his place of work or asks you to touch him inappropriately, or worse, tries to touch you. I know I'm getting a little graphic here, but not enough people talk about this and how it destroys that innocence for you. I remember feeling so much freedom, and then around the age of 12, something integral changed. I went to sleep one night, and I dreamt that I was cycling to my friend's house on Khaiban-e-Muhafiz, which is walking distance from my house, and I was apprehended by men. And I remember waking up and thinking, life's never going to be the same again. I'm never going to be able to go out alone and feel safe. And to date, even though I have a driver's license, I can drive, I'm not generally a fearful person. I can't go long distances on my own. My sister, on the other hand, I mean, she came out of similar experiences, being determined to be independent. She drives everywhere herself. So different people turn out differently. But yeah, that fear really seeped under my skin. And it really makes its way down into your core and changes how you perceive things. So with all these safety concerns and the way society piles on its expectations and all the associated pressure, it's hard to go your own way without feeling like you've done something wrong. I never really fitted in, perhaps somewhat owing to the fact that my father's Zoroastrian, my mother is a Catholic, we're Anglo-Indians living in Pakistan, and our first language is English. So I learned Urdu in school, which was also a challenge because I was made fun of for saying things like badi gali instead of badi gadi. Thankfully, thanks to Coke Studio and singing in different languages, I've become a lot better with that. But I've always been a little strange, a little weird, never fit into a specific clique. And I made a lot of friends in school, but I would always see all these groups of people who just gelled together and could cling to each other for dear life. And I've lost my point. Yeah, so they would cling to each other for dear life, and I would always be on the outskirts of the fringes of the social circle, or doing my own thing, or flitting from group to group. And I remember it used to leave me with some insecurities about the kind of person I was and being a misfit. I was that kid in kindergarten who complained to the principal about the cruel ayah washing ants down the sink from my lunchbox. I was that kid running home from a neighbor's house crying because they had called me Paleed and wouldn't let me sit on the bed. I was the kid in class 5 who said, "Miss, is it man and woman because woman is a man with a womb?" The whole class started laughing. I mean, imagine how my education would have turned out if they'd said, "That's a good question to ask." All right. So I was also that uncool 11-year-old convincing my friends to return stolen goods to a shop. And I was that child arguing with a teacher because I thought she was being unfair, or taking up class time arguing that animals had souls. So I was seen as lazy, sometimes disruptive, never really living up to my full potential. I would wait until the last minute to do everything, to study, and I could never seem to understand how to be cool or normal. But as I grew older, I grew to really appreciate not fitting in. I was like, because if I had fit in, I wouldn't be the person I am today. And you know what? I get along with myself pretty well. All right? Different people come out differently from this societal mill, if you will. Some people get molded by society and its expectations to the point where they completely lose themselves or who they could be and become what everyone else wants them to be. Isn't that a very, very tiresome existence, don't you think? I mean, you're constantly trying to make other people happy, and you don't really actually figure out what makes you happy. Some people are fortunate enough to come through all of this with greater conviction about who they are, how they feel about life, how they want to live it. And that's something worth nurturing, in my opinion, being the ultimate you. Because there's no other way for you to more fully contribute to society and to your own happiness and to change than to be the ultimate you. So coming into the work environment and the media industry, artists face the same struggle, I think, between being their ultimate artistic selves and achieving true artistic expression versus being the pressure to be commercially successful in order to be recognized. Now, not many things have as much potential as the pressure to be commercially successful to squash creativity out of you. It really does. And again, you're catering to the needs of society, what people will think, how they will receive it, and again, that is taking away from your personal expression. I'm really sorry about all these cards. But yes, we all have norms and ways to coexist. as a society, and part of that process is finding commonality, is adhering to a certain set of societal rules. But it's a tight rope to walk, a delicate balance. Like, I'm not going to walk out wearing shorts and a tank top in Pakistan. But at the same time, I'm not going to kowtow to how somebody tells me to dress, or if someone says, go put a dupatta over your head. So that's, sort of an example of striking that balance. It's easy to live in black and white, but it's really difficult to navigate staying in the gray area. And step too far to the left, you risk alienating society. Step too far to the right, and you risk losing yourself, which is dangerous, because when conformity becomes so inherent and locked in, then you lose individuality and creativity. And suddenly you have a whole society of people who think exactly the same way and cannot creatively problem solve. I know I'm talking in extremes here, but I'm trying to explain the gravity of it. All right? It's only that weirdo, that person who dances to their own tune, who's actually going to have a solution at the end of the day to that problem. And we tend to squash that out of people. It means less lateral thinking, less creativity, and that's losing out, in my opinion, on the things that are the most important to actually bring about change. It comes from within. It's important to cultivate your own individuality, forge your own path, and to think differently. To influence the world with your colors. I've truly grown to cherish seeing the world in my own unique way, and I've been glad on many occasions that I've followed my gut. Like, I remember during my A-levels, I decided to engage with musical theater. And everyone was encouraging and supportive, but at the same time, they felt that, okay, it's going to take away from your studies, you have to balance all of these things, and I went ahead anyway. I went against my counselor's advice, and maybe my grades suffered marginally, but at the end of the day, while I value what I learned there, it's what I learned from musical theater and taking those risks that stays relevant and is useful to me to date. So it was one of the best decisions of my life. And I did backing vocals for Coke Studio for 7 years, and a lot of people were on my back about, go your own way, go solo. Why are you still doing backing vocals? Why are you still in the background? But what they didn't understand is that it's this beautiful world of its own, and from it, I loved being there, and from it, I learned so much. It was one of the biggest training grounds for me. It has defined my work ethic, given me the chance to work with and learn from many, many talented individuals, artistic individuals, and to understand more about myself, my work style, and it's given me the freedom to execute it, exercise creativity, and over this time, I realized that my weaknesses actually existed to fortify my strengths, if that makes sense. So, yes, I'm a procrastinator and a dreamer, and I disappear into my own world. But when I'm motivated by something and I take on a challenge, I work hard. And understanding myself, I know I need to take breaks. I need to chill and recharge. And that's who I am, and that's how I work best. And if I'd succumb to the pressure of how other people wanted me to do things, then perhaps I would be much less successful. Not to say that I've done everything I want to do. I mean, there's a lot of things. There's plenty of things that I still have to do. But it's my timeline, and I'm okay with it. And it's my life, and I'm living it. I'm living my journey the way I want to live it. So there are always going to be factors that try to suppress you and eliminate, chip away at who you are. But it's not about eliminating all of these factors. It's about learning how to navigate within them. Just remember that who you are is always evolving. Don't stagnate. The same way that you would, grow with a person in a relationship, the same way, the same way you would have a successful relationship with another human being, the same way you need to grow with yourself. And you need to cultivate your own individuality, to be your own brand of weird. Dare to be different, think differently, and influence, paint, graffiti the world with your colors. Thank you.